The UK's Lloyds banking group is once again back in private hands. The government has sold off its last remaining stake. So, is this a sign that the UK banking sector is recovering? Well, Lloyds is the first of Britain's rescued banks to become private again. The government took 43% of Lloyds after its $26 billion bailout during the global financial crisis in 2008. The Royal Bank of Scotland was rescued at the same time for $58 billion. However, it remains more than 70% state-owned and this year posted its 9th consecutive annual loss since its bailout. Banking giants HSBC and Barclays decided against a government bailout. However, Barclays raised capital from private funds. Joining me now from London is Economist Vicky Pryce. Vicky, thank you once again for joining us on Money Talks. So, good news for Lloyds, back in private hands, but is this where the banking sector needs to be right now? In your opinion, is it in rude health?
No, I think Lloyds has done quite well, in fact, shaking off quite a lot of the debt that it acquired, the disastrous acquisition of HBOS that it did at the time of the financial crisis, which turned out to be a real problem for them in terms of the debt that they basically acquired as a result of that. And of course, there was huge support from the Bank of England to ensure that Lloyds could carry on functioning properly. And they had to really seriously restructure and then become much more UK retail business oriented and corporate business oriented rather than the fancy things they were doing before, trying to do before. But it has not been easy, and the circumstances in the UK continue to be quite poor. If you look at other bank shares, they really haven't done particularly well, and the Royal Bank of Scotland is still more or less in state hands. So the environment hasn't really changed. Lloyds has managed to restructure reasonably well, and it will have to depend now, I think, on what goes on in the UK economy, which actually is beginning to show signs of slowing down. So I'd look at all that with great concern.
Yes, indeed. If God forbid, if we had to go through this all over again, what should the government do differently this time around with regards to the banks?
Well, we hope we're not going to have to go through this all over again. There is now a much better regulatory environment, at least. I think you could have blamed quite a lot of what happened all across the world to perhaps the regulators not having quite realised what the problems were. And of course, the interdependency all across the world was something that one couldn't really cope with very easily, given particularly the international nature of the city of London here. And of course, so many foreign banks all interlinked with each other and affecting also what was going on domestically. So I don't think we are in the same situation as before. The real concern, of course, is that the taxpayer, yes, we got a little bit of money back from Lloyds. Interestingly enough, we probably could have got more if we hadn't had the Brexit effect, which depressed bank share prices anyway. But the question is whether we're ever going to get anything back from the Royal Bank of Scotland sale, if there ever is one. And that is a problem. As you see, again and again, they've been making losses year after year, and they haven't been able to shake some of the other problems that banks have. Mis-selling of PPI, which is loads and loads of things, and also fines, which have been imposed for LIBOR fixing and lots of other things which have affected everyone's balance sheets rather badly.
Vicky Pryce, Economist, thank you so much for joining us.